Welcome back. Leap Enforcer Podcast, episode 22. We just wrapped up week 9 of the NFL season. Picks went okay last week. We were 10 and 4 for the picks last week. Brings us to 97, 37, and 1 on the season. A couple of the games that kind of stuck out to me last week, outside of the Packers, is the Lions-Vikings. I was a little surprised at the Lions losing to McCarthy and the Vikings. Vikings defense is really good. I didn't think McCarthy could get it done. He got it done. Beat the Lions, and they won by a field goal. Kind of surprised me a little bit. A lot of the other games kind of went as planned. Steelers upset the Colts. That was a pretty solid game. Colts just kind of looked out of sorts in that game. I don't know. They just didn't look like their normal self this year. Besides that, kind of looking at a couple of these games, Bills-Chiefs was pretty good. Bills won its regular season, so Bills typically win regular season games. It's not the playoffs, not playoff patty. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs if they meet again. And then what do we have? Sunday night game, Seahawks just dismantled Washington. And it sucks. Jaden Daniels is out. He's probably done for the season. I mean, dislocated elbow. I kind of question that guy's frame, like his size. As far as like longevity in the NFL in that position. I just feel like when you look at some of these smaller quarterbacks, the Kyler, who's currently hurt, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, Jaden Daniels, like some of these smaller stature guys, I feel like they're getting hit a lot more often than, they should be, especially being that size. So I don't know. I'm wondering how he's going to be long term, but we'll see how that goes. I think he's out for the season. I think Washington's pretty much done this year. I can't see them going anywhere with Mariota. And then in that same game though, Seahawks, they're playing phenomenal. And then they just picked up Rashid Shaheed at the trade deadline. Their offense is clicking. Their defense looks good. Sam Darnold's playing really well. JSN's probably the number one wide receiver in football right now. I mean, statistically, I think he's got to be right up there. He's playing out of his mind. So. The Monday night game was a little surprising. I thought Dallas would have beat up on the Cardinals with Brissett starting. Arizona, they look better with Brissett. I know we played them last week, and we were able to squeak out a win against them. But Arizona's defense is really good. They do have some playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and I just think Brissett is more of your atypical quarterback instead of Kyler Murray, who wants to just run the ball, or tuck it in, just take off. So I do think they're in a better position with Brissett. I know they just put Kyler on the IR, so he's out for the next 4 weeks. So I don't know. It might be the last time you see Kyler in a Cards uniform. There's going to be enough teams next year looking for quarterbacks. Steelers for one, Jets for one. There's teams out there I think that'll go after him. Saints maybe. But, I don't know. I just think they're in a better spot with Brissett. So trade deadline just passed. Jets made a couple moves, got rid of Quentin Williams and Sauce Gardner. Nobody in the NFC North did really anything to speak of. I was a little surprised by both Green Bay and Detroit that we didn't go and get a corner. They didn't get a corner either, which was kind of nice. Because I really think it's just going to boil down to us and Detroit for the division. Bears are playing pretty good. I still don't trust them. Maybe next year, year after. I think when they get a little bit of chemistry and a little bit more consistency within that group, I think they'll be okay. And then Minnesota, at the end of the day, I just don't trust McCarthy. They got a really good defense. Flores has that defense playing extremely well. You never know what they're going to do, if they're in man, if they're in zone, how many they're going to blitz. So he's, in my opinion, probably one of the best defensive coordinators in football. But I think it's going to boil down to Packers and Lions. We got them. What are we? I think we're 5-2-1, and the Lions are 5-3. So we got them by that tie to Dallas. So we'll see. Long season. We got a tough matchup coming up this weekend. But I was just a little surprised we didn't make a move for a corner. I really would have liked to get like Tariq Woolen. I know we got Asante Samuel. He's in for a visit today. I hope they don't let him leave the building without a contract. I think he could help us tremendously. He's not a great tackler, but Jair wasn't a great tackler. He was just really good in coverage. I mean, he's good at pass breakups. He's good. He's sticky on coverage. It's really what we need. Hobbs is out now for a couple games with the MCL. I think it was an MCL sprain. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what I seen. Nixon's playing okay. Valentine's been playing pretty good lately for us, but we just have no depth. So, I mean, realistically, that leaves us with Bo Melton as our third option. So I really think we need to get the Asante thing done since we didn't, sign or trade for like a Tariq Woolen or a Denzel Ward or something like that. The other thing I wish we would have made a move on, which a lot of people didn't agree with me. I don't remember what page it was. It was one of the Packer pages. I had said that I think we need to make a move like a Calais Campbell. I think you could have caught Calais Campbell pretty cheap. And everybody's like, oh, no, our run defense is good. We're good. Yeah. But if you look at what happened against Carolina, how did they beat us? Rico Dowdle I think he went for like $130, and everything was up the gut. It was getting away from, our edge rushers. It was right up the gut where we kind of lack some size and depth right now too. Van Ness was playing inside. He was playing well. Then he got hurt, but I mean, outside of Wyatt, Nazir Stackhouse plays a little bit here and there, but I mean, just as far as like a quality, run stuff right up the gut. I mean, that was the one thing about losing Kenny Clark that hurt, but we could have got Calais, on the cheap, I think. I mean, he's 38 years old and I think he just wants to win a chip. Why not go to a contending team? But the Carolina game, that's all on the trade deadline. But just to jump into that Carolina game, Carolina's defense is really good. I will give them that. I mean, I think they ranked 12th overall in the league. So I mean, they got a good defense. It's not a weak part of their team, And Bryce Young really didn't make any mistakes. He was getting the ball out quick. I think that was the key. Was they had such an efficient run game going with Dowdle that it allowed Bryce Young to just get the ball out quick. And when you do that, you don't have a chance to get to the quarterback. I mean, I think we had one sack the whole game. And, but Bryce did what he had to do to not lose the game. He played okay. He didn't play great, and we weren't efficient on third downs. We weren't efficient in the red zone. It just seemed, I think we were 1 for 5 in the red zone, if I'm not mistaken. But you can't go 1 for 5 and expect to win a game. And the thing is, there's a lot of blame going around. Should LaFleur be fired? Should we get rid of McManus? Yada, yada, yada. So my quick take on this, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. LaFleur's play calling it's awful right now. When you have certain personnel groups out there, you know what they're going to do. You just do. When you bring Jacobs out, you typically know what's going to happen. You bring Wilson out, you typically know what's going to happen. If Kraft's out of the game, you bring in Musgrave. There's telltale signs that I can see. You bring Brooks in, 9 chance out of 10, it's on a passing down because Brooks is a really good, pass blocker. There's just certain things that you look for, and I understand that's the same with a lot of teams, but our play calling is just so vanilla. It's very bland, and I think it's causing us to, the Cleveland game. I think that LaFleur help us lose. I think the Panthers game he helped us lose, and you guys want to put this on McManus, have at it. But you want to go with Haversick, have at it. I don't agree with it, but I'm going to get into that in a second. But if you look at LaFleur's play calling, what sticks out to me is, let's just jump to the fourth quarter. This is epitome of who Matt LaFleur has been. So fourth quarter, scores 13-6, 11 minutes left in the fourth. We're down 13-6. I think we're at the 12-yard line, something like that, 12 or 13, before we can score. And it's 3rd and 3. LaFleur calls a screen pass, like a little bubble screen to the left. Wilson's out there and goes for -5. Okay. If you already know you're going to go for it on 4th down, why are you throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage? It makes absolutely no sense. You're 3rd and 3. You're going to go for it on 4th down. If I'm not mistaken, you have Josh Jacobs, who's a tough back. You have Wilson, who's been playing extremely well. You don't think you can get 3 yards in 2 tries if you're going to go for it on 4th? Hand the ball off. Who cares if they know what we're going to do at this point? Hand the ball off. Our offensive line played solid outside. I mean, Sean Ryan, I don't know what we're doing with him, but he's not been playing that great. But, I mean, we can get 3 yards on 2 carries. He overthinks it. He tries to make it more difficult than it needs to be, in my opinion. So, we don't get that 3rd and 3. We end up at 4th and 8 because it was a loss for 5 yards. It's 13-6. It's 11 minutes left in the game. You don't think we're going to get a possession back? You don't think we're going to get the ball back? Why not just take the 3? It's 4th and 8. Take the 3. Okay? So then it's 13-9. Then we're not in this conversation of why we lost on a field goal at the end of the game, in my opinion. But it's this type of thing, these type of things that, you know, on a 4th down, you got Jordan Love scrambling around and then throwing across the field. It was almost a pick. If that guy would have picked it, I don't think anybody would have caught him. I don't think Dobbs would have caught him. You know, I think it would have been a pick 6. But you just take the points. It's like, be smarter. I feel like LaFleur complicates a lot, and I feel like he has his hands full. I think he should, you know, if him and Stenovich are, you know, putting these plays together, you know, all week and they're game planning this properly, maybe let Stenovich call the plays. Maybe LaFleur needs to focus on everything else that's going wrong right now with this team. And then, you know, he made a remark. He doesn't talk to kickers. Like, it's kind of a smart-ass remark, and he was probably joking, but you still got to kind of know where your guy's at. If McManus is hurt, then absolutely sit him. If he's got a quad injury, then you should absolutely sit him. But the back and forth of like, hey, who's going to start? Is this guy going to start? Is he going to play? Blah, 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 blah. That you need to talk to your kicker. If you don't, that's ridiculous. But I don't know. LaFleur has just got this like cocky arrogance about him, and I like him as a coach. I just don't trust him as a coach too often. And I kind of wish he'd get Stenovich more involved, let him play call. You know, if he's got to, you know, listen in on the plays or whatever, that's fine. But I'm also going to swing it the other way. When Rodgers was there with LaFleur, Rodgers would audible out to a secondary play that he had. Maybe Jordan needs to take and do that. We're paying the guy $55 million. LaFleur doesn't have any faith in the guy at times, and I don't understand. Like, if we're gonna lose to the Panthers 16-13, I'd rather, you know, hey, let Love go out there and sling it and let him see what he can do. He had one really bad pass, the one that was thrown in triple coverage. I don't know what he was thinking. That ball was underthrown by 10 yards. It was picked. The other one across the field, he's just trying to do something with it. It's 4th and 8. You got to throw the ball up and just hope. I mean, I'm not going to put much on that play in the 4th, but the one that was triple coverage was a very, very bad throw. But, you know, the thing is if something's working, like, let's roll with it. We are terrible in the, like, first half. First quarter, I think, you know, we're good scoring. We're one of the top teams when it comes to scoring. But the first half, if you look at our numbers, like, we just don't seem to put together very good first halves. I don't know why that is. We just start off very, very slow. And then it's like you come out and it's like, all right, well, let's start, you know, throwing this ball a little bit, zipping it around, get the ball out quick, you know, get these yak yards, blah, blah, blah. It seems to work. So I kind of wish that if you know, Love's going to be our quarterback, LaFleur, you need to have a little bit more faith in him and let him sling it. And at the end of the day, if he makes a mistake, then we got to learn from it. But we should not be, you know, our defense is playing really well. I mean, they gave up a lot of run yardage up the gut to Carolina, but they're still playing really, really well for the most part. But, you know, we got to put up points as an offense. I think we put up 30 twice this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think we put up 30 twice. I think it was the Steelers game and the Dallas game. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We might be one more game. But we need to be able to put up more points. Like this offense, we have all these weapons at our disposal, and it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. When you look at some of these other, you know, really good defenses, your really good offenses, your Seattles, your Buffaloes, your KCs, they don't really overcomplicate things. They get the ball out, they get, you know, they go with what's working. If the run game's, you know, working, they do it. If it's 3rd and 3, you don't see them guys throwing screen passes typically. Like, they're going to run the ball and get it because, you know, these teams all typically have solid running backs. And we have, you know, a really good, you know, running back in Josh Jacobs. Give him the ball. Like, it doesn't need to be this complicated. But anyways, I'm not going to beat a dead horse on all that. You know, Carolina's a good team. I think they're 5-4. It's not like, you know, the Browns loss where, you know, it's just not a very good team. They just got a good defense. But we got to be able to put some points up. We got to up-tempo this, you know, not let these defenses switch personnel. You know, if it's first down and they got their run guys, you know, they're the big lineup on the defense, you know, they're bigs up front. And it comes, you know, 2nd and 3, get to the line of scrimmage, keep them guys on the field, tire them guys out. Don't let them, you know, sub out and get some of their, you know, their corners and safeties back in. Like, no, keep them on the field. Like, speed this game up a little bit. I feel like when we start speeding the game up, we play a lot better, and it just gets more fluent. My 2 cents on it. But the biggest loss, in my opinion, wasn't even the game Sunday. It was Tucker Kraft. That was one of the worst things that could have happened to us this season. He is, I mean, he's been our number one offensive weapon and dependable weapon on our team. And it just happened to be a fluke accident where he caught Sean Ryan's cleat, to the side of his knee and tore his ACL. So that's going to be a tough one to, replace. But I really hope Musgrave steps up. He was drafted ahead of Kraft. I really hope he steps up. This is how Kraft took over that position last year, is when Musgrave got hurt. So, maybe Musgrave comes out and plays well. Musgrave is just not the blocker that Kraft is. That's the only thing that's a little concerning for me, is because our tight ends need to be able to block, and I think that's what's been kind of holding Musgrave back a little bit. But, hopefully he can figure it out. I just wish we would just play to our strengths. We have a lot of really good wide receivers. And this Matthew Golden thing is just mind-boggling to me. He's got so much speed, and if you want to do things behind the line of scrimmage, run on a jet sweep or, do something like that. But don't do it on 3rd and 3. Get the ball in his hands, let him make some plays. Christian Watson's back; he's playing really well. Jaden Reed's supposed to be coming back at Thanksgiving. Wicks looks like he's on his way back. Dobbs has been playing extremely well for us, probably the most dependable hands we have right now. Malik Heath, shout out to him. He's been playing really well. It's like when his name is called, I don't really see him drop passes when the ball's thrown his way. He's got this like fight in him too after he makes a catch. Like, he lets he made a catch and he tries to fire up the team. But I really hope, this Kraft injury is a rally cry or whatever you want to call it, that this team just says, hey, let's do this for Tucker. Like, let's do this for ourselves. Like, because when he got hurt, all the tweets and the retweets and the Instagram posts and all that stuff, everybody, you could tell it affected the team. And everybody felt, bad. Packers fans, I was sick to my stomach when I found out it was a torn ACL. I was just hoping it was sprained MCL or something crazy like that where he could have came back. But anyways, it's we're going to have to make do without him. And I hope that this team, can figure out the tight end position. We didn't make a move. I knew Michael Mayer was rumored, and then Njoku was rumored to possibly be in the mix for a trade, but we didn't get either one of those. Again, it's, we didn't make any moves at the trade deadline. So I just hope that, Musgrave can come in and play well. Like, it's on his shoulders now. It's on him to earn, more playing time, earn that starting position back. Let's see what happens. I'm going to jump real quick. I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this one, though. But today, I seen McManus and Haversick are both kicking. We went to McManus, then we went away from McManus now. LaFleur earlier this week said we're going to stick with McManus. He's going through something. And now we got Haversick and him kicking us essentially to see who's going to kick this weekend. And I'm going to play, both sides of this. So Haversick came in and he's played well since he's, the 2 games he played. He played 2 games for us. Didn't miss a kick. Didn't miss an extra point. Great. So if we look at his resume, real quick, I'm going to jump into these kickers. So if we look at his resume, 2023 with the Rams, he was 15 for 20. Where did he struggle at? Plus 40. Over 40 yards, he struggled. He was 4 for 9. He was 19 for 22 on extra points. Okay? Played 9 games. He was on multiple practice squads. I think there was 3 or 4 practice squads that he was on. I know Cleveland was one. I don't remember the other ones, but he was on 3 or 4 practice squads if you look. And so, I understand he's the hot foot right now. And we want him to play because he kicked extremely well for 2 games. 2 games. Let's go to McManus for a minute. We went through this mess after Crosby. The whole reason why we got rid of Crosby is because he couldn't kick past 35 yards. 38, 40. Okay, let's just say 40 for the numbers purposes. Haversick's not great over 40. Did he kick the all-time franchise record 61? Yes. Phenomenal. Congrats. Great. Made a hell of a kick. Doesn't mean I want to hand him over the reins for the rest of the season. So if you look at McManus this year is 11 for 16. He went 2 for 4 against Pittsburgh on a terrible field. I've already talked about this. I'm not going back into it. He went 2 for 3 against Carolina in a super, super windy game. So those were 3 of his misses. And then he had 2 earlier in the season. He had 1 against Cleveland and 1 against Washington. And people want to put the loss on him against Cleveland. But do you not remember the turnover Jordan Love had? Like in your own end? No, I'm not going to put this on him. These close games with these bad teams, I'm not going to put it on McManus. I'm just not going to. Okay, you want to put it on him? Great. He lost 1 game. Fine. If that's what makes you guys feel happier, like better, have at it. If that makes you happy, so be it. McManus is 82% in his career with a Super Bowl. He's kicked in big games. He's done this on the biggest stage. He's 82% for his career on field goals. He's 357 for 367 on extra points. Haversick is 79% for 11 games. 11. 9 with the Rams, 2 with the Packers. He's 25 of 28 for extra points. So he's missed 3 extra points in 28 tries. McManus has missed 10 in 367 tries. Like, I understand, like, he's the hot foot right now. But when we got rid of Crosby because he couldn't kick far, then we got to Anders Carlson, and it was just like, okay, who's kicking next week for us? Who's kicking next week for us? Who's kicking next week for us? If we let McManus walk, if for some crazy ass reason this week, LaFleur's like, we're gonna go with Haversick, we're gonna release McManus. You throw him on the practice squad, somebody scoops him up. He's gone. It's not like Haversick is Aubrey. It's not like he's Bates. 2 people that just kind of came out of nowhere for the Lions and the Cowboys. Like, he's been on enough teams. If there was enough talent there to keep him long term, you don't think those guys would have kept a kicker? Yeah, they definitely would have, but they didn't. So I don't know. I think this is just like, I feel like we have and this is my opinion, but I feel like we got a lot of armchair GM, Packer fans, and I appreciate it because people can say I'm the same way, but I also look at stuff from like a logical perspective. You want to get rid of a guy that's done this for years, that came through last year and saved our ass. Won games for us, won a game against Houston right in front of me and jumped to me for the Lambeau Leap. Is that why I want him to kick? Absolutely not. Why do I want him to kick? Because he's been doing this shit forever. He's been in the league. He's won a Super Bowl. I want a guy that in the playoffs has been there and done that, not a guy that was going to be a substitute teacher if he didn't get a call from the Packers because they had to scramble to find a kicker because they found out McManus is hurt. And people are saying that it's a quad injury and he's still dealing with something. Okay, then sit him and put him on the IR, but don't release him. If you want to let Haversick kick, go ahead. But the ones that are talking about making this a permanent fix, it's not a permanent fix. It's a terrible decision. Because guess what? McManus is going to get picked up by probably some other playoff team, and we're going to be left with Haversick. And as soon as he misses a kick or 2 in a game, it's going to be like, we got to find another kicker. No, you don't. If Jordan Love has a terrible game, which he has, it doesn't mean that we want to go to Malik Willis full time. It makes 0 sense unless McManus is hurt. That is okay. If you want to let him kick this weekend against Philly, great. It's a huge Monday night game. Huge Monday night game. We looked like garbage last week. Absolute garbage. I hope they take those 23 uniform, those blue and yellows, and never pull those things out again because we played it terrible in those things. We had a huge game. If the game's 38-38, fourth quarter, and there's 5 seconds left on the clock, and you got a 47-yard field goal, you really want to tell me that you're going to trust Haversick to go kick this? No, absolutely not. If McManus is healthy, I want McManus out there in a heartbeat. Why? Because Monday Night Football against the Eagles is not a big stage for him. The guy's done it in the Super Bowl. He's been there. He's done that. It's not a big deal. If he's fighting through an injury, he's fighting through an injury. Our whole team is injured half the time, but you guys don't want to get rid of everybody. If we put up more points like we're able to with this offense, we're paying a quarterback $55 million a year. We should be able to put up more points. LaFleur, open the playbook up. Let Stenavich call plays. Let this offense perform. Let him audible out of these garbage-ass plays that you're running bubble screens and screens on 3rd and 3. Like, it's 3 yards. If you're going to go for it, run the damn ball or throw the ball over the line of scrimmage. God, you can only throw so many screen passes. But you want to put all this stuff on a kicker. No, we need to put up more points against, not really good teams. Carolina's not a great team. They got a solid defense, but their offense is not that good. Cleveland's got a really good defense, but a terrible offense, and you let them stick in the game. Like, we can't, ever since we got Micah Parsons, it's like, oh, let's just, we just need to get to, we just need 17 points. We need 20 points. No, put some points up on these guys. You don't see Detroit walking out here and, they're up by 2 touchdowns. You don't see them like, oh, we're just going to drop back and run a screen pass, or we're going to run the ball on 3rd and 8, knowing you're not going to go for it on 4th. Like, come on, LaFleur, make better play calls. You got way more offensive weapons, and you got people getting pissed off. You drafted a wide receiver in the 1st round. Why? You're not using them. I love the fact that we took Matthew Golden. The guy's got so much talent in the world, but all you're doing is just killing his confidence right now. Like, pull your head out of your ass and get this guy the ball. Christian Watson's playing extremely well. And you want to run a damn screen pass to Wilson on 3rd and 3. Like, that's the dumb shit that annoys us. We don't want you fired necessarily, but this play calling is atrocious. I don't know if you need to get Stenavich involved. I don't know if you just need to let him do his thing. I don't know if you got too much on your plate, but this is the frustration from a logical thinking Packer fan, in my opinion. I'm not going one way or the other. I don't want him fired. Some people are like, he needs to be fired. But I'm tired of the play calling. I'm tired of me being a guy that sits home on the couch and watches every Packer game, knowing exactly what play you're going to call. If I know what play you're going to call, and the people watching the game with me or the people sitting next to me in the stadium know what you're going to call, you're telling me that these defensive coordinators, Brian Flores, those type of defensive coordinators don't know what you're going to do? You're out of your mind. Like, we run the same shit over and over again, and it's so bland and generic, and it's no wonder we can't, beat bad teams or put points up on even good teams. Like, put some points up on the board. Stop this vanilla and crap. And Love, in my opinion, you need to take the reins and just run with it, because at the end of the day, they're not going to sit you. They're not going to sit $55 million on the bench. They'll probably fire LaFleur before they sit you on the bench. Because as soon as they set you on the bench, I bet you LaFleur's gone. I just roll with it, Love, at this point. I would just get the ball to Golden, force the ball in there if you have to, not in a triple coverage. But I'm saying, give him a slant route, get the ball in his hands, get, whatever you got to do. Get the ball in his hands, let him do his thing. We need to get his confidence up. You get Jaden Reed coming back. We have all the speed in the world. Use what your weapons are. We don't always have to go to a tight end. Losing Kraft is going to kill us, but it doesn't have to. You got Wicks coming back. Wicks is a hell of a run or pass blocker, run blocker. He's just a really good blocker, so we could essentially use him in some of those spots. He's not as big as Kraft, but he's a hell of a blocker. Christian Watson's a hell of a blocker. I don't know if I want to put him in that position because he's hurt all the time. But he's a big dude that can block as well. My point behind that is we have a lot of weapons that we're not utilizing, and this offense is terrible right now. Play calling is terrible. So hopefully we figure this out. I think Monday night's going to be a telltale sign of who we really are and who Philly really is. Because, Philly's the defending champ. They added a couple pieces at the trade deadline. They added Jair. That's not a big deal. But they added some, pieces at the trade deadline that I think is going to, help them. Their GM, Howie Roseman, is, it's arguably probably the best GM right now. The guy, he makes moves and he knows his weak spots. He knows what he needs to improve on. So it's going to be a big game. End of the story. It's going to be a big game Monday. But I hope McManus is healthy. I hope McManus is our kicker moving forward, because I'm telling you right now, if we put Haversick in there, I like the guy. Seemed like a super nice guy when I talked to him in the Steelers game. It's nothing personal, but the dude is going to be a substitute teacher for a reason. I want to roll with the vet that's been doing this for, I don't even know how long, 11, 12 years. But anyways, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. on this weekend's game. I'm going to do a podcast Saturday. It's been hard for me with my work schedule. I've been so damn busy. Tonight we have, I think it's Denver and Raiders. Denver should easily win that game. They got a really good defense. And Raiders just aren't good right now. So I'm going to roll with them tonight. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the Eagles and Packers game Monday night. Tell me what what do you think is going to happen. I'll kind of go more in depth on Saturday when I do another podcast. But if there's anything you want me to any questions you want me to answer, any thoughts, shoot them at me, man. I don't know everything. I'm just giving you my opinion. I feel like I'm a pretty logical thinker. I watch this team in and out. I go through, stats. I look at a lot of stuff, not just on offense where the ball's being thrown to, but what, who's blocking and who's open, things like that. I kind of read the whole play. I kind of, read a lot of what's going on, positionally on defense. I don't know. I feel like I got a pretty good feeling on this team. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. This past weekend, when they were 13.5-point favorites, I had a friend of mine message me. We were talking about it. I was like, I took Carolina. I did. I took Carolina in the points, not to win the game, but I took Carolina in the points. Why? When do we blow teams out? Never. That's a problem. All these good teams typically know how to blow teams out. Super Bowl title, winners, at some point during the season, they figured out how to blow teams out, to put teams away. So it's something we got to figure out. We got to figure out our play calling. Stenovich, I hope you start doing a little bit more for as far as OC. And then Jordan Love, man, it's time for you to do your own thing. You got to be more consistent, though. We need you to start, playing. You have these glimpses where it's like you're really, really good, and then it's like, what the hell are you doing? So I don't know. We just, start slinging it, and hopefully we can pull this win off Monday night. So anyways, go watch Thursday Night Football. And please, hopefully we sign Asante Samuel Jr. because we really need the depth at the cornerback position. I just think he's a really good cornerback. I know he's coming off a hell of a surgery from spinal fusion, but I don't know. If he passes the physical, it's worth a short-term, 1-year deal, see how prove it type deal, 1 or 2 year prove it type deal, and then give him a bigger contract if he's healthy. So anyways, again, I'm just a guy with an opinion. Leap Enforcer Podcast, episode 22, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Yep. Give me a follow. Appreciate it. Thanks.